This episode of Philly Fame TV is sponsored by Top Dog Law. Now y'all already know who to call for any accidents or injury cases. If you want that top dollar, you better get at Top Dog. You can hit him up on Instagram at Top Dog Law or visit his website www.topdoglaw.com. Philly Fame. Philly Fame. Alright, y'all, welcome back to Philly Fame TV once again. You know, this is a second episode of Drilladelphia. And we gonna do, 16-year-old Tamir Brown this go around. We gonna touch on his story, and I felt that it was important to do this one because, in recent time, not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Larry Krasner had made the announcement that he made good on his promise to lock up members from O to the 4. He made the announcement some time ago when he was calling out different gangs and different groups in Philly. And one of them was O to the 4. He's saying O to the 4 are going to go to the jail. That was a famous line he said.
Today we want to send a very clear message to the members of O to the 4. You like that name? How about go to the jail? Because that is where you're going to go. And I don't just mean the two people we're here to talk about today. Members of O to the 4 who are causing mayhem on our streets, who are terrifying the population. Get ready, O to the 4, to go to the jail. Because that is what's going to happen. That is what justice looks like, and that is what you deserve. I strongly encourage anyone who is involved with that group, stop it. Get away from that group. Stop it. And you will know very soon why. I'm encouraging you to do that.
And that whole little speech. And then recently he put the post up saying that he made good on that promise by locking up certain members. So that's made me think about Tamir, Little Mir, as he was known as well. So I decided to, touch his story for episode 2. So we're going to get right into it. It was summer of 2020, pandemic year. I had put a post up on a gram referencing, I'm looking for young, hungry artists in the city. Let me know who up and coming, trying to show some love to the youth. And who was coming up in the city trying to tap in, and connect them to the platform. Because we was doing a lot of legends at the time, a lot of people who was well established and well known. So I wanted to give some up and coming dudes the opportunity to get on the platform, showcase their talent, and highlight their story. So when I put that post up, a bunch of people was tagging, it got a whole lot of hundreds of comments on that post. And so I was skimming through some of them and look at some. I couldn't get through everybody, but I just go to certain names that I seen their names tagged a lot of times, and I go on their page. And one of the people pages was Lil Mir. I seen his name tagged. I just randomly clicked on his page. I seen one of his freestyles or something on his page. Damn, young boy got something. So I reached out to him let's set something up so we could do a little interview or something so we can get you on the platform. I did him and a few other young boys too at this, all at the same week or whatever. One of the other young boys I did was one of his homies. I didn't know they was connected or they was a part of the same clique or whatever. But young boy Rico Sama, I did them two basically within days apart or whatever in the same apartment complex joint. And ironically, that's the interview I did with Lil Mir in that apartment complex was the same apartment complex he had passed in. He got killed in. So back to the story. So I reached out, we touched base. He gave me the Eddie to meet him in that apartment complex. I slid up on him. Mind you, I ain't really know too much about him. A lot of the young boys that I got at that time, like I said, they was up and coming, so they was fairly new on the scene. Like I said, he was 16, so he was young, he was fairly new. He had a couple little songs out, a couple little visuals out at the time. He's affiliated with Lil Buck, so he had a song with him, a song in the video with him and another young boy on that joint. But when I slid up on him and I met him, he was with a couple other young boys, was with him. You'll see them in the back, or see one of them in the back of him during the interview or whatever. And prior to this, I never heard of O to the 4 or none of that. I ain't really knew too much about a lot of that stuff that was going on. So a lot of these young boys that I did these interviews with, they kind of put me on game to what was going on in their world and their generation. So Lil Mir was one of the guys that kind of educated me on, you know, they O to the 4. Like I said, I never knew what that was, never heard of that before. So a lot of people that's tuned in right now may not be familiar with you. You're a young artist coming up. I mean, you 16, I mean, so you real young, I mean, fresh in the game, I mean. So we gonna give people a little background on you so people can get, you know, a little bit more familiar, so they can know a little bit about who Lil Mir is and where Lil Mir coming from. So you say you from, you know, 64th Street, y'all call that O to the 4. I mean, explain that for the people when...
It's 60th and Lansdowne, and 64th and College.
Alright, okay, yeah, go ahead.
My ties for real, for real. We all grew up together, you dig me? That's all.
Okay. So for those who ain't familiar, give them a little bit about what it's like growing up in an environment like that in that neighborhood, in that part of the city, you know what I mean?
It's like, when we was young, it wasn't nothing like how it is now. Just know it's a war zone in the whole west side. That's all I'm going to say, is a war zone. Every block in West Philadelphia. That's all I know.
He educated me on, you know, speaking on what was going on in West Philly. Like, one of the things he said on top was it's a war going on in West Philly. So he was kind of touching on, you know, the issues and the drama and the beef that was going on without saying too much into it. Know what I mean? And I later found out, like, what he was talking about. Obviously, after he got killed and all that, you got to see, you know, what he was trying to say without saying too much about it. But yeah, he had broke down O to the 4, 60th in Lancaster to 64th in Collow Hills. They clicked up, that's their little squad or whatever. He said that they grew up together, so they pretty much moved together, and that's their little squad or whatever. And like I said, he affiliated with Lil Bucks. Lil Bucks, a well-known rapper in the city. Everybody, a lot of people know who he is, who follow underground Philly hip-hop. Another person is One Mayor. He affiliated with him as well as an artist. You know, they do music, they rep that West Philly, and they rep O to the 4 or whatever. So learning his story, you know, there's a lot of pain in his background. He was a young guy, but, you know, he explained he was the youngest of 7 siblings, you know what I mean? And his mom died when he was in like the 2nd grade. I mean, so it was a lot of pain you could see, and he said he didn't really have a close relationship with his dad that much until he got older, you know what I mean? So as a young boy, you know, I mean, that's a tragic situation for any young boy to lose their mom at a young age and grow up, you know, all these siblings and no mother figure whom he lived with and basically took care of him for the most part. So, I mean, we dug a little bit more into his story. I was asking him about school, I mean, off camera, and I asked him on camera. He's basically saying he go, but not all the time. Like, he was doing this thing with his homies in the streets. They was doing what they was doing, whatever. So he was enrolled at Overbrook, but he wasn't really like an active student like that. You know what I mean? He basically explained like he was in the streets. He was, you know what I mean, doing music and trying to pursue that. What school is you currently enrolled at though? Overbrook High? Okay. Yeah, Brook definitely, you know, West Philly school, you know what I mean, real grimy, real, you know what I mean, notorious. A lot of people that went there know about that school, that's from West, they know about Brook and all that. So speak a little bit on, you know, your transition into the music biz. Or you like, man, I'm not going to school hard like that right now, but you did tell me you trying to do the music shit heavy. So at what point did that come? You said your older brother was doing it, so at what point did you start really messing around with it?
2019 September.
So about a year and some change at this point. So what did you do, or what was it that made you say, you know what, I think I can do this, let me try, I mean, go hard at this?
Everybody was trying to rap in ass. I don't know, I was a young boy saying it ass. I finally tried that shit.
And that's the gist of the interview. The interview wasn't that long, because like I say, he a young guy, he new on the scene, so he was just getting a little background, just introducing himself to the people, I mean, to the audience, so we didn't really dig too much into anything in particular. It was a real short interview, I mean, but it got some good feedback on the interview. Like, it's almost had like 10,000 views now. I mean, I know it ain't too crazy number-wise, but for somebody that's unknown, nobody never heard of, I mean, that's pretty decent. And then when I put a clip up on Instagram, when I first did the joint, I mean, back in August 2020, I put a clip up of him rapping, and that joint got a lot of, I mean, comments and good feedback and stuff, so he had a nice little wave. I could see, like, know what I mean, he had a nice little wave, a little following on the gram. So, you know, it was crazy when he died, like, he got killed. It was a quadruple shooting. Like I said, in the same, pretty much the same apartment complex joint where we did the interview at. He was sitting in the car, him and 3 other people. And, I mean, allegedly, they saying the young boy, Ameen Hurst, who's 16 as well, they allegedly saying that he the one who did that. Like I say, allegedly. I mean, he was charged for it. I don't know if he was convicted of it. I wasn't there, so I don't know. So I got to put that out there.
Philadelphia police say this 16-year-old is responsible for a months-long reign of gun violence which left 4 people dead, including a man who was a victim of mistaken identity. Investigators say Ameen Hurst was the gunman who shot and killed a 20-year-old man on Christmas Eve. In March, they say he was responsible for killing 2 people in a quadruple shooting. And a week after that shooting, investigators say Hurst shot and killed Rodney Hargrove, just after Hargrove was released from jail. Police say Hargrove was not the intended victim.
Allegedly, he was the one who did that. They were sitting in a car, sitting in that complex, and he shot the car up. They all got shot, and 2 of them died, including Lil Mir. Lil Mir was 16. The other guy that died was like 24, I believe. Yeah, 24. This happened on March 11th, 2021. The police responded at, 3:04 p.m. And yeah.
And a quadruple shooting sprayed homes with bullets, killing 1 person in Overbrook Park. Shawnette, what have you learned about this?
Well, Shayna, 4 people, as you mentioned, were shot. They were all taken to the hospital by private car. We do know that 1 has died. An investigator on scene describes to me that this looked like a running gun battle.
It was devastating, and I thank and praise God that my grandson is all right.
Valerie Owens has her arm around her grandson, Zaire, grateful that he wasn't where he usually is at the time a bullet pierced his bedroom window this afternoon.
If he had been sitting in there doing his work, he would have got shot, but he was downstairs with me.
It was around 3 o'clock this afternoon when police began getting calls about shots fired and people shot behind Woodcrest Garden condos at 1400 North 76th Street in Overbrook.
We are doing everything that we can to get interviews from witnesses that may have seen it, to gather any video evidence or gather any witness statements that we can.
Sky Fox broadens out the scene for us. Police at 2 different locations in the neighborhood, both littered with dozens of evidence markers. It's unclear exactly how many shots in all were fired or how many people were shooting. A group of neighbors didn't want to show their faces, but one says she called 911.
I heard the gunshots. I heard somebody say I was hit. And this is not the first time that I've heard gunshots in the last week.
They're concerned, especially for the children that play outside in the neighborhood, particularly on a 70-plus degree day.
At this point, I can't even allow my daughter to come play on her basketball court.
Police say a 24-year-old man shot died shortly after at the hospital. The others listed in extremely critical condition include men and teens, ages 30, 19, and 16 years old.
You know, the concern is that not just for this neighborhood, but for all of the neighborhoods, all these people getting shot and killed. And it's very disheartening. It's very sad.
Certainly is. District Attorney Larry Krasner was also on scene. I just checked with police moments ago. Still no arrests have been made, Shayna. No weapons recovered.
Those 4 people shot in the car. And Lil Mir was no more. And that kind of crushed me because, like I said, young boy was only 16. So we did the interview in August 2020, and he died March 2021. I mean, like, crazy. Like, I mean, that was a crazy situation. Like I said, the young boy, one of his folks, I mean, I did an interview with him too, Rico Sama. I mean, we built a real rapport. Like, I like young boy. Young boy was cool, man. He would text back and forth and all that. I be telling young boy, stay out the way, you know what I mean? Keep doing your music, do your thing and stuff like that. And I mean, I know he was hurt behind that too, because that was his homie. Like, so that was a bad situation, man. So, I mean, I ain't really know him too much that long. Like I said, I met him in August. He died in March. Know what I mean? So that was just crazy. that really definitely hit me different. Cause like I say, Young Boy was only 16. I mean, and he seemed like he was trying to make a wave with the music, and he seemed like he had some potential. You know what I mean? He had some people that was rocking with him, had a nice little wave, like I said. I mean, but he was, I mean, caught up. I mean, when what he was caught up in with the people he was caught up with, like even on the gram, his name was Long Live Bro. I ain't really know who that was or what that meant, but later after he died, I got to see like that was a girl that they was cool with that was from their hood or whatever, I guess, and she got hit. Somebody came and shot up, you know what I mean, where they was at, and she was an innocent bystander that died. So I mean, one of his other homies he got posted on his page had died, so he had experienced, you know, a lot of deaths from gun violence already at a young age. So he, on top of his mom dying and stuff like that, he had homies and peers that died, so he dealt with a lot of pain. Then himself ended up, you know, dying. So it's just crazy, man. But R.I.P. Little Amir. I mean, condolences to his family. And I mean, he said he was the youngest of 7, so he had a lot of siblings. I'm sure he got, other family members and loved ones out there. I mean, so condolences to them. I mean, this was just my point of view, my interaction with him. I'm just sharing on how I met him, my vibe with him, my experience with the interview with him, and you know, my reaction to hearing that he passed and all that, man. So that's it for this episode. I mean, I want to end it like that. Once again, condolences, R.I.P. Lil Mir, man. Definitely was a sad situation, bro. Like, I mean, you know, like, condolences to the loved ones and the family once again, man. And we're going to end it off like that. Till next time, on the next episode, stay tuned, tap in. Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. If you ain't never, you know, seen none of our other content, you know, check out the channel. We've been dropping content since like 2014, 2015 on YouTube. So, you know, we got plenty of content if you're not really familiar. So you can go catch up on past episodes, interviews. I mean, we got ciphers, videos, all type of stuff on the channel. You know what I mean? Until next time, see y'all on the next episode. Philly F.A.M.E TV. We signing out. Drilladelphia episode 2. Episode 3 coming soon. Stay tuned. We out of here.